"Mom, can we please go? I want to see the new puppies at the pet store." Her youngest daughter, Mia, whined, pulling at her arm. The 15-year-old was on the cusp of becoming a teenager, and the last thing she needed was the specter of her father's infidelity looming over her head. "Just a second, sweetheart," Carla murmured, her eyes glued to the screen. The messages were just the tip of the iceberg. Hidden in the depths of the digital abyss lay a web of deceit, financial infidelity, and emotional betrayals that made her stomach churn. Matt had been living a double life, and now, in the wake of his death, she was left to pick up the pieces. As she scrolled through the notifications, a FaceTime call from an unknown number popped up. "What they forgot to delete," she muttered. Curiosity piqued. With a quick swipe, she answered, half expecting a telemarketer. Instead, it was a woman, young, vibrant, with a knowing smile that sent a chill down Carla's spine. "Hey, babe, it's me, Jess. Let's meet up later, okay?" The woman giggled, oblivious to the fact that her call was being answered by the wrong person. Carla felt her heart race as she realized this was the mistress, the woman who had stolen her husband's heart and ultimately his life. "Who are you?" Carla hissed, the venom in her voice surprising even herself. "Whoa, Matt, is that you?" Jess replied, confusion evident on her face. "I thought you were in the gym." "No," Carla interrupted, rage bubbling to the surface. "You're talking to his wife." Jess's face paled. "Oh my God, I didn't know. I'm so sorry." The call abruptly ended, leaving Carla seething. The betrayal ran deeper than she had imagined, and now she had a name to attach to the pain. The sound of the door creaking open pulled Carla from her thoughts. Her oldest daughter, Emily, stood in the doorway, hands on her hips, brow furrowed. "Mom, what's going on?" "Just nothing, sweetie," Carla lied, quickly locking her phone and stuffing it into her pocket. "Let's go pick up the puppies." But as they made their way to the car, Carla couldn't shake the feeling that the world was closing in on her. The whispers of the suburban neighborhood, the gossipy neighbor Linda, who always seemed to know too much, echoed in her mind. She could almost hear the murmurs of, "Did you hear about Matt? And what a shame about the kids." The thought made her sick. The market was bustling, full of families enjoying their Saturday. Carla tried to focus on the cheerful chaos, but her mind was still consumed by the digital betrayal she had unearthed. She could feel the weight of the world bearing down on her as she maneuvered through the crowd with her daughters. "Look, Mom, they have those cute little puppies," Mia squealed, her innocence a stark contrast to the turmoil brewing within Carla. "Yes, honey, let's go," she replied, forcing a smile. As the three of them approached the pet store, Carla spotted a group of older women from the church standing nearby, their laughter ringing out like a clarion call. Among them was Linda, the suspicious neighbor who had always seemed too interested in their family affairs. "Look who it is!" Linda's voice sliced through the air. "The poor widow! Are you coping all right, Carla?" Carla felt her face flush with anger. "What's that supposed to mean?" she snapped, her protective instincts kicking in. "Oh, you know," Linda smirked, her eyes dancing with malice. "The loss must be hard, especially with those girls to look after. I just hope they don't inherit their father's ways." A tight knot formed in Carla's stomach. "You know nothing about my children," she hissed, feeling the heat of humiliation wash over her. Emily stepped in, arms crossed. "Leave us alone, Linda. You don't know what you're talking about." But the older women began to whisper amongst themselves, pointing fingers and casting judgment. Carla felt the walls closing in, the pressure mounting. This wasn't just about her anymore. It was about her daughters. "Let's get out of here," Carla said, grabbing Mia's hand and pulling her away. But the damage was done. The seeds of doubt had been planted, and she could feel the whispers of gossip trailing behind them like shadows. Later that night, while the girls were asleep, Carla sat at the kitchen table, the remnants of the day swirling in her mind. She couldn't let those women tear her family apart. She needed to take control. After some digging, she found a stash of old receipts hidden in Matt's sock drawer. Business trips with hotel charges that screamed of betrayal. What else had he hidden? As the sun rose the next day, Carla was on a mission. Armed with a printer, she printed out the incriminating evidence: hidden Venmo payments to Jess, photos of Matt's car parked outside the hotel, and even receipts for a second phone line. She created binders filled with evidence, each page a testament to the lies that had shattered her family. "Mom, what are you doing?" Emily asked, entering the kitchen. "Just some organizing," Carla replied, a wicked smile creeping onto her face. "I'm preparing for a little visit to the church." The church was buzzing with activity as Carla walked in, binders clutched tightly to her chest. Emily and Mia trailed behind, confusion etched on their faces. The vibrant stained glass windows seemed to mock her as she made her way to the gathering in the main hall. "Good morning, everyone," Carla called out, her voice steady, but her heart raced. The congregation turned, shocked to see her there, her daughters at her side. "What's this?" Linda snickered from the back. "The grieving widow making a scene?" Carla held her head high, determination surging through her veins. "I have something to share," she announced, flipping open a binder. The pages rustled like the whispers of betrayal that had haunted her for too long. "Come along, Matt's lying texts," she shouted, holding up a page for all to see. Gasps filled the room, the shocked faces of the church members reflecting a mix of horror and fascination. "Did you know he was sleeping with Jess? Here's the proof." She threw receipts onto the table, pointed fingers, and exposed hidden truths. The church women who had once looked down on her now stared wide-eyed, the air thick with tension. "I found his hidden Venmo payments," she continued, her heart racing. "This is what your precious Matt was doing behind my back. And you think my daughters will inherit his ways? You're wrong." Murmurs rippled through the crowd, and Carla could see the tide turning. "What they forgot to delete," she hissed, holding up another page filled with damning evidence. As the binders flew across the table, open mouths and wide eyes were all she could see. "This is the truth," she declared, her voice rising. "And you've been complicit in the lies, judging my family while turning a blind eye to his betrayals." But just as the room began to shift, Carla's ex-mother-in-law stepped forward, her face a mask of indignation. "You're just trying to cover your own failures as a mother," she screeched, her voice a shriek that echoed off the walls. "Failures? I'm protecting my daughters from the legacy of lies," Carla shot back, her fists clenched. "Your son was the one who failed. He chose the path of deception. And now you want to control my daughters? Not anymore." The confrontation escalated, voices rising in a cacophony of chaos. Emily and Mia stood by their mother, their expressions resolute. The church community was no longer a safe haven. It was a battlefield filled with accusations, guilt, and scandal. But the real betrayal was in the shared Amazon account, where Carla could see purchases made by Matt that had nothing to do with her or their daughters. The shame of his double life was laid bare, and as the truth spread like wildfire, The backlash against her ex-in-laws was swift. The fallout was palpable. Carla's ex-in-laws were ostracized, their manipulative tactics exposed for all to see. Community members who had once supported them now turned their backs, leaving them to face the consequences of their actions. As the dust settled and the chaos began to fade, Carla felt a wave of relief wash over her. She had reclaimed her power, and in doing so, protected her daughters. "Mom, that was amazing," Mia exclaimed, beaming with pride. "Yeah, you really told them," Emily added, wrapping an arm around her sister. Carla smiled, her heart swelling with love for her girls. It wasn't over. The scars of betrayal would take time to heal, but they would face it together. As they left the church, Carla felt a sense of bittersweet victory. She had fought for her daughters, and they had emerged stronger. But deep down, the paranoia lingered. What if Matt's mistakes haunted them forever? What if the whispers never truly went away? And as they walked into the sunlight, Carla couldn't shake the feeling that their battle was far from over. How would you confront someone who betrayed your trust? Tell us what you think in the comments section down below. Thank you for listening, and have a nice day.